Well, hi there. We're back in 60 FPS, can you tell? Just before we get started with today's fun and games, stuck a few items in the stash shop. And the first is these heavy body acrylic paints. These came in the July up crate. I've said this a million times, I've got acrylic paint coming out my ears. This is really nice, thick paint. So if you want to grab a hold of those, they will be over in the stash shop for you. And secondly, I really hope that Julia's not watching this video. I found an injured watercolour dot set. These are Julia K's Starry colours. They're absolutely amazing. This one's obviously been damaged in transit. Okay, these dot cards in particular retail for way more than £10 normally, but obviously because this one's damaged, and I actually don't have these in stock right now, I'm going to put this up for a bargain price so you can see the actual card part itself's pretty dented and damaged. There's nothing wrong with this paint. You will still get the lovely iridescent and shimmery starry colours of Julia K's, and this is her handmade watercolour. The little card that Julia has with her sample paint still with it as well, so you're actually getting an extra paint colour. So if you fancy that, that'll be up as a wee bargain for somebody. I'm so sorry, Julia. I feel so bad because these paints are beautiful and that's just been absolutely ruined. Anyway, now that we're done ruining paint, let's get on to the video. Hi everyone and welcome back to the Colour Cave where we like to play with art stuff. My name is Jem and we're back with our Artful box today. What an interesting set of responses after the unboxing video when I asked which of the tutorials you would most like to see. There were 3 tutorials that were banded about and it was pretty even across the 3 of them. You all said you would have a preference for them quite evenly. So we are going to do all 3 of them. Naturally, that is not going to fit in one video. So we're going to start with our little friendly fruit bowl today. I am trying to organise one of the glass frames with the dual glass in it so that we can do the goldfish one, and that might take me a week or 2 to sort out, but I thought we could start here with the fruit bowl today, just for giggles basically, because this is the best fun. I mean, look at it. Seriously, how can you not want to do this? So as always, I will go through step by step, and as we're going, we will sort of analyse how good the tutorial is as an actual tutorial. Yep, so for this one, I'm going to stick to the pens that we got in the box. So this is just really sort of extending out, because I do always say I like to try supplies in an actual image, not just on the paper, you know, as a swatch, because the proof is always in the artwork. So we'll do that for our fruit bowl friends. I keep going to say fish bowl friends, but it's because I'm thinking about the goldfish tutorial. When it comes to the next tutorial, I'm going to start adding in some more of my own paint pens, just so that we can do something with a wee bit more interest, because I do have a lot of paint pens as well as acrylic paint as well. So let's fire up our Artful cartridge paper. Oh, we're stuck. Wow. Oh, we were stuck to the white. Tools needed: Artful paint markers. Yes, yes, yes. Paper. Yes. And a pencil. Check. The step 1 is to sketch it out using a light F or H grade pencil. Well, we've got an HB, so no. Sketch out the shape of your bowl. I opted for the bowl to take up 1/3 of the page, so that's an interesting observation that they have put in for us. I'll zoom this in a little bit so you can see what's going on. Then add shape, considering what colours you may fill them with later, so you don't place 2 similar colours next to each other. So a bit of planning here. Play with scale and shape to give a good variation. Okay, we're going to go portrait orientation here. I suppose you do want it to be quite a deep fruit bowl, don't you? Now, if I want to make this like my fruit bowl, my actual fruit bowl, it's a lot like shallower than that. But it's turquoise and it's got like sort of little ribbed lines in it. So it's not like stripes, it's actually like, you know, ridges in the glass. Very pretty fruit bowl. So it makes sense when I'm looking at this drawing here. I think this might be Tom that's done this. I don't know Tom's hands that intimately. But he's done a sensible thing and he's put the bigger fruit at the back. So this is us talking about composition. You would want your pineapples and your bananas further back because naturally they're taller unless you sit your bananas on their side, obviously, which is always an option. So if we think about that, I definitely think I want my pineapple at the back because that'll give it a nice hairdo as well. I don't know how I feel about a grumpy pineapple though. I get the feeling that a pineapple might be one of the cheerier fruits in the bowl, just saying. So maybe if we have a banana poking up here. Again, maybe bananas at the back would be better. just because they're longer and taller. So I think I'm maybe going to have a banana there. Oh, apple. Oh, big shiny bit on it, make it look like an apple. Then I can have an orange or a grapefruit. It could be either. And I want a kiwi fruit because I want a hairy fruit. We don't have a brown pen though. I'm going to have to mix a brown colour, which obviously is perfectly doable. Maybe I want a slight overlap there. I'm going to have a wee cherry here. Our wee cherry's pal's going to be man overboard. So he's going to be quite upset that this has happened and probably a little bit scared that he's hanging out the side of the fruit bowl and everyone else is nice and cosy and safely tucked in here. So I think I might have a lemon and a lime. I don't know how many variations in species of lemon and limes there are, but the limes we get here in the UK, they're wee round things, you know, they're quite small. Whereas I've seen limes that are shaped more like our lemons. When I say ours, we don't grow them, it's far too cold to grow stuff like that here, but the ones that are available here in the UK, that's what I meant. So I don't know if anybody is up on their lime variations, but I'm going to go with them both the same shape, and obviously a lemon is going to be yellow and a lime is going to be green. That sounded very Scottish there, didn't it? Green. Okay, that's quite a full fruit bowl and it's probably not to scale because I'm just looking at the size of my lemon next to my apple. But do you know what? It's okay. Okay, I'm fairly happy. Going to tidy up some of my line work here. Already in my mind, my brain started to go into overdrive and I'm thinking to myself, how am I going to put all the texture on this pineapple and still keep it simple at the same time? Like, I haven't even got that far yet, jeez. Also, I really like peaches. Like, I'm right into peaches, but I like nectarines better because they're not fuzzy. You get the same sort of peachy taste, but you don't have to deal with because some people really don't like the texture of peaches because of it. I don't mind it, but I'll eat a nectarine, they're good. My friend's really into persimmons as well, and I just can't with them, which is weird. I'd love to hear about your favourite fruits. I get quite excited about my fruit, but I eat a lot of fruit. I'm mostly grapes at the moment. I am eating a lot of grapes at the moment. Just making this difficult for myself. There's really no need. See, this is, right, it sounds as if I'm just like muttering away to myself here like a mad woman, but what I'm actually doing is I'm manipulating the composition and I'm just obviously talking out loud so that you guys have an inkling of what's going on in my tiny little mind. But it's quite important to do this with when you're using paint, just because this is it's very final and you don't want those colours next to each other like we were talking about there. You do want some sort of variation, otherwise your shapes will end, that does look like a bum, that's funny. Your shapes will end up sort of blending into each other, so it's quite important that we address that at the beginning and then everything shall be fine. I'm quite happy now with the position of things. I am going to take away quite a lot of this graphite because it does muddy up, like it will grey out your paint. Just because we've got an HB, if you use an F pencil or a very light H pencil, then you're going to be fine. So I'm using this rocking motion with my kneaded eraser because it's not quite as harsh. If we rub, we'll probably take the lines away. That kind of defeats the purpose of having a sketch. Super duper. Right, I'm quite happy with that now. Excellent. So let's see what we've got to say here. Stage 2 is the base colours. Give your pens a good shake and then start laying down your colour. I started with the obvious shape to colour, colouring the cherries in red, bananas in yellow and the oranges in orange. Imagine that, guys. This allowed me to play about with the available colours between them. Well, surely you're not playing about with colours because you've mapped everything out. Just saying. Okay, so we're basically blocking in here, that's the idea. Well, obviously, I would start with the banana, but the banana's on the left-hand side, so I'm going to start with the pineapple. There's nothing to say that you have to work right to left or left to right if you're right-handed. I just find it easier. I'm pretty bad at sticking my hand in things though, so some of you may be a little less chaotic than me. By all means, go with your gut, go with the flow, go where you feel comfortable. Also remember as well that you can turn your paper. Again, something as a YouTuber, it's something I try not to do because it gets quite confusing as a viewer and or makes you feel seasick. So I try and keep things the right way up just so that, you guys don't all lose your minds. Rotate the paper, not your hand, if that works for you. So I've got my little lemon here as well. Oh look, give it its nubbin. And then I've got my banana. Still seem to have an awful lot of graphite here. How did that happen? It's quite a dark orange, but okay. Okay, literally don't have anything else orange. Here's the problem. I don't really know how I'm going to colour my peach in. I'm going to have to mix some colours for my peach. Let's just get the greens in. Again, I'm going to be doing a lot of mixing and layering up, I think, by the looks of things. This is going to take me way longer than half an hour, I would just like to point out as well. If anybody thinks that the outcome of this will only have taken 30 minutes, they will be sorely, sorely mistaken. So I will keep an eye on the timer for you though, guys, like I will let you know about that. Right now, obviously there's bits that I'll have edited out, but as it stands in raw form, this is like 22 minutes just now. So, and you know, I mean, I'm not going to finish this in 8 minutes, not by a country mile, so. I always think people's expectations of art are very skewed when it comes to time scales. Sorting out my highlight here as well, I want my apple to be super shiny. Go, yes. Forgot about my strawberries as well. Oh no. Okay, now my peach. Bear with me on this. My peach I'm actually going to make pink, but again I'm going to work on top of it. Alright, so I've got all my base colours down that are just you know, like single colours. I am aware that I'm going to have to add in a step of my own to this tutorial for the colours that I'm going to mix, but I'm going to try and continue to follow along as best I can here. The next step is to fill in the bowl. When you have coloured in all of your fruits, it's time to colour in your bowl. I chose turquoise, but you could also go with a pattern of some kind. At this point, it is best to clean up wobbly lines or give colours a second coat of paint. I've actually already done that. I kind of did that automatically and I'm quite happy with that. I am also going to go for turquoise. As I described at the beginning of this video, my actual fruit bowl is turquoise. But I think I'm going to maybe use a little bit of the blue to give it some interest. So I'm going to get on and fill this in. My bowl is still bawling in the background. I don't know if you can hear him or not, but he's cheesing me off. I've figured out why he's mooing so much. He's obviously got really bad eyesight and no sense of smell. There are horses 2 fields away and they're far enough away that he thinks that they're cows and he keeps looking over at them longingly and mooing at them. I've tried to explain to them that they're in fact equine, not a bovine, but it doesn't seem to make a difference. Well, that went a bit raw. So here's my flat bottomed bowl. I'll give it a bit of a bottom. I didn't even give this a shake. I had that as a lovely smooth line when I drew it in. That's marginally better. When I drew it in graphite, I can't remember what this thing I use most is called. That's helpful. I am using this sort of stroking motion. This is just basically to try and help preserve the paper. I have yet to meet a standard paper that can cope with the rough and tumble of paint pens. Because it's a slightly wet medium and you're actively rubbing against the surface of the paper, paint pens pill up the surface of most papers. I think you probably get on a little bit better with mixed media paper, just from experience, or even the acrylic pads you get. I used them in the Upcrate video just recently. That would probably stand up to this a little bit better than just this standard, because this is just cartridge paper, isn't it? Yeah. So one of the things I mentioned earlier was the fact that I would talk about the amount of time that I've spent on this. The tutorial did say 30 minutes. What is taking the time is the actual filling in of all these sections with the nib of the pen. Having a choice and my own pen selection, I would use a much bigger nib, especially for things like the bowl, where you're covering large areas and not having to do much in the way of detail work. So in terms of following the tutorial, I would say that the timescale for this is deeply, deeply flawed. I don't know whether they just kind of did the project and then put a guesstimate on how long it took them, or it genuinely did only take them 30 minutes and I'm just really, really slow. But we are well past 30 minutes now. And we're nowhere near, we haven't even got an eyeball in sight yet. Just saying. You know, always keep it real here in the cave. And it's funny because timescales, I think, are one of the things that are deeply, deeply misunderstood in a lot of disciplines, not just drawing and painting. And things take a lot longer. And I honestly think the rise of social media has attributed a substantial portion of the attitude towards that, just because we're so used to seeing heavily edited versions of things. I mean, especially now when people watch shorts a lot more, like you don't get much more edited than that unless it's a picture or like an actual still. So, you know, there's that. I'm going to turn this around so I don't put my hand in it. I'm feeling as if the paint flow's slowing me down here as well. It doesn't matter how much you press, you get to a point and the paint flow just kind of grinds to a halt. And it's okay for now, but it really wasn't for a bit there. And I feel as if see what I mean? This is starting to dry out there. I feel as if the paint flow could be better. Okay, that's me. I actually just flooded the nib there and it's given me a little bit of paint to move about. I'm just trying to kind of like kickstart this nib into doing what it's supposed to. I mean, it is doing what it's supposed to do. It's just being a bit stingy is all. There we go. See, that's the way it should be better. Maybe I just wasn't brave enough there when I was, See, that's more like it. So I should be zooming through this. If everything had been like this, then we would have been half an hour for this tutorial. The next step is adding detail. So this is the stage where I'm going to go and grab a palette and I'm going to grab a paintbrush or two and some water and I'm going to mix some colours here and add them in where I need them. The first thing I want to do is mix a sort of brownie colour, and this is for my kiwi and also for some of these stalks and stems, and some detail on some of the other fruits as well. I don't know how this is going to turn out, so we're just going to have to try and trust the process a little bit. So I'm going to, because this red is not really all that red, it's more of a pinky red. Let's see how it goes. So I'm just going to use a damp brush, and I do have, I am using an Artful number 3 round for this particular part. I always like to have a little rag handy as well. We'll mix them together and see what happens. Well, that's not bad. It's not great. I've seen worse. Which I'm weirdly smug about, the whole kiwi situation. I don't know why. I've got no idea why, okay? I don't need to have a huge amount of opaque colour here because I really don't have any overlaps. And I'm just going to add, I've been thinking about this while I was obviously taking forever to fill all this in. I am just going to use the dark purple for most of the detail. The detail doesn't need to be in a specific colour. I'll even make the hairy bits like a different colour. They don't have to be brown also. Although this is working pretty well, wouldn't you say? So I might just use this last little bit. The colours come off on that just because it's the cartridge paper that it actually looks really good on that because it's giving it a bit of texture. I do want my kiwi to be a little bit hairy though. That's not a euphemism. Oh, good grief. Right, okay, this should probably be dry enough. Can you see all the white of the paper that's showing through as well though with my marker, apart from that one section? And that was where I'd pressed down a lot on the marker and flooded it. Yeah, so I'm going to use the blue. Just waiting for my little kiwi to dry a bit. I'm going to use my blue just to, I talked about the ridges on my fruit bowl. I kind of want to just let that be known a bit more. See, I'm alternating the direction of my strokes here, and it's just because with a paint pen you do always get a thicker start and it goes into a thinner line if you're sweeping. So it's just to kind of even that out a little bit. And then I'm going to give it a blue rim. I just want to see if I'm going to be able to do this. Oh yeah! I'm just making my kiwi a bit hairy. In the middle here, obviously that's just going to dry, but if I get to keep these little edges a little bit, that's thin. A little bit of texture here. There we go. So it looks a little bit more like a kiwi. Not much, but a little bit. I'm just using the residual brown now to make a sort of pineapple-esque pattern. So obviously this is really simplified. It doesn't need to be complicated though. I don't know, I just think the crisscrossy thing does make it look a little bit more like a pineapple. I'm just saying. Okay, now here's an interesting one. This pink blob at the back here, I want to make this look a little bit more like a peach. It is incredibly misshapen for a peach, but we're going to make it look like a peach. And the way I'm going to do that is by taking some of this orange colour, maybe a lot of white by the looks of things. And I'm going to mix these together to make a paler orange colour. Okay, that looks a bit more like a peachy colour to me. And I've got this little sponge. I've got a bit of a fixation with this sponge just now. I don't know why. And I'm just going to pick that up. And I want to kind of like dab. I'll tidy up my pear, not concerned. And then I want to put in like an actual line. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this with this. I might have to do that in actual orange. Actual orange. Okay, yeah, we'll do that. That's fine. But I just want to make it look a bit more peachy. I think I may succeed at this. I might. So the next step is adding detail. So this is about patterns and things. So there's other areas where I want to add detail in, and I'm going to follow along with what they've done here. There's like little bits in the pineapple that they've added things in, so I'm going to copy those elements because obviously with a limited colour palette, there is only so much we can do. I'm going to start at the top right here. I'm going to be methodical. I'm going to be methodical with this. I'm going to start with this. Oh, now my turquoise marker wants to leak everywhere. Well, okay. There we go. I don't want to do anything else to the body of the pineapple. I'm now going to use red to put my orange pattern. So like the stippling of it is the orange. Yeah, see? Great. Oh, try not to make a mess here. The nibs are a wee bit too big for this level of detail, but we'll manage. Like we can do it. It's doable. It's not impossible, but it's not great. There, now it looks like a kiwi. So we've done the texture there. Apple doesn't need any more texture. The lime kind of does, and I'm going to use the blue for that. I want the limes need to be dotty, and then on the lemon I can use the orange. And then I need to draw my peach line in. See, now it looks like a peach. It looks like a bum. With the grapes, I think that the grapes are going to be a collective bunch of grapes is going to be one character rather than each individual grape having a face. Banana. And again, this is just following a copy of what went on in the tutorial. Again, I'll just show you here. There's lines in here. See, we're in bananas. Now it's time to give the fruit some eyes. Play around with not only size and shape, but also how far apart you place the eyes. For example, I set the bowl's eyes on opposite sides of the bowl. This is a good way to give the bowl a friendly face. Again, friendly face, look. Oh, happy. So we're going to utilise the white here and decide where all our eyes are going to go. Now, I personally think there'll be some fruits that would be lazier than others. We don't really have much choice with our cherries. This cherry's going to be distraught, so he's going to have like big, oh my goodness, type eyes. And this one's going to be like looking down, and he's going to be quite surprised. And I feel like banana eyes need to be banana shaped also. And I'm going to make my peach look like a beluga whale, because why not? Look at my kiwi. And I think I want my pineapple to be friendly. I think I do, that's definitely a thing. I think the fruit bowl deserves really big eyes. And it kind of looks like this line's his little unimpressed mouth now as well, which pleases me even more. The next part now says facial expressions. Using your purple pen, start giving each fruit some character. It might be helpful to have a mirror next to you to try out some expressions yourself. I wanted the bowl to be looking up at the fruit inside, so I put the dots of the eyes in the top of the white spots and gave it raised eyebrows. I was kind of thinking a similar thing, because it says here, the next section says about interactions, you know, so that the fruit look as if they've actually like bumped into each other and things. So we want to keep that in mind while we carry on here. I am going to have to go over most of these again with the white, but I'll do that off camera, and then once that's dry I'll come back and we can start actually giving our fruit some character. Alright, we've started to curl up a bit at the edge here, but we're doing okay. Nice and dry now, so this is probably going to be my favourite part, is putting the facial expressions on. They have suggested using the dark purple marker, which obviously I will honour. I kind of wish I'd used the lighter lilac colour for my grapes now. It's not too late to do something about it, but I really don't want to go back over the whole thing. So I think if I could have done anything differently, that's what I've probably done. And I probably not have made my peach such a wonky shape. I want to start down here with because he's clearly going to be looking at everyone up there. What y'all doing in my bowl? Because he's got this little line as well, so he does actually look as if he's a bit unhappy about everyone being rowdy and he's in the top of his bowl. I'm not going to give him eyebrows. He doesn't need eyebrows. That expression says it all. Oh no, what's happening to me? And his little friend's looking over like, oh no. I'm going to give him these eyebrows up here like, oh my goodness, what are we going to do? I don't know what sort of accent that was. Yeah, he looks kind of tired. He's almost asleep. And maybe I'm going to give him some high up lilac eyebrows just because I can. It kind of got lost in with everything else there, but he looks tired enough. And he is a big happy pear. I feel like this peach is just a really simple being, like easily pleased, really happy all the time. Banana's concerned about something. Pear's pleased because Cherry's fallen out. Maybe he's sceptical about what's going on. Like, what the hell are you two doing down there, you absolute idiots? Even made his eyeball bigger on his lifted eyebrow eye. Pineapple, he's just a happy-go-lucky guy. Maybe Orange feels like Pineapple's smile is infectious. Either that or maybe Orange has got a thing for Pineapple because he knows that they go well together. Kiwi is indifferent to everything, and the strawberries are they're just happy to be in the fruit bowl because they're normally in the fridge with the cherries. That's what's happened. The cherries are in trouble because they're not supposed to be in the fruit bowl, they're supposed to be in the fridge, and the strawberries are just really happy because the cherries got into the fruit bowl, they got into the fruit bowl because they're fed up being stuck in the fridge. That's it, got my story straight, job's a good one. The last step was to add a dark purple worktop with a light purple crosshatch. This was to ground the artwork on the page, and that looks a little something like this. And that is what we were going to do to finish this design off. I'm glad to say that my purple's going to be minimal. This isn't going to take as much time as the actual fruit bowl part did, so we'll get through this fairly quickly. We dry. It's making me chuckle how unhappy the fruit bowl is about having fruit in him. You would think he would be happy because that would have fulfilled his life's ambition and purpose. But yeah, oh, how did that happen? I think I'm just going to sign this in here. Ooh. Okay guys, that is us. We are done. I can confirm that took approximately an hour to complete. I think this as a tutorial on the whole is actually very good. There is just, I've lost my page again. That's why I've got these little stickers on the top here because these magazines are springy. Right, okay. Yeah, so I would say the beginner level is fine because they do explain the steps that they're doing in order to achieve what you need to achieve here, so you can copy this directly if you're brand new with paint pens. But the fact that they explain about overlaps and making sure that colours are side by side aren't the same, like that's something I would expect in a beginner tutorial. There's enough steps to keep you entertained though, as a more experienced artist such as myself, and it's just overall really good fun because you've got a little bit of room to play about and put your own mark on it. Obviously the expressions of the eyes and that kind of thing. I've had really good fun doing this. I would highly recommend it. My only complaint is maybe I think we could have done with some more robust paper for this. I mean, don't get me wrong, this paper's held up quite well. It's only cartridge paper, but we do have to be gentle with our pens on this type of paper. So all in all, the tutorial, a great thumbs up from the cave and from me. And these supplies have been fun. This has been, it keeps making me chuckle every time I look at it. I need to stop looking at it. So I hope you've enjoyed yourself today, guys. I hope this has kept you entertained for half an hour or so. And the next time we revisit this Artful box, I'm going to chuck in my own paint markers as well to give us a nice array of colours. And we are going to tackle the Infinity Scene Zine. So that is an intermediate tutorial that's to last about an hour. So we might as well say 2 hours just in case. Oh, sorry. So that is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out. And I shall see you back in the cave on Thursday for another video. So have a great day, everyone. And bye-bye for now.